Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. On Monday evening, one of the biggest stories of the midterm elections dropped. According to the Daily Beast, Trump endorsed Georgia Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker, reportedly paid for a woman to have an abortion in 2009. Now, Walker is a guy who is running on one of the most extreme anti-abortion platforms in the country. Now, NBC News has not verified this story. Walker immediately denied the allegation. A little more about that. But barely 2 hours after the story dropped, there he was, the big guest on the Fox News 9 p.m. show, getting, as is known in the business, Hannitized.
The Get Well card, it looks like it's included with your signature in the article. Have you seen it, and is that your signature?
I haven't seen it, but, I can tell you, I send out so many Get Well, send out so much of anything, but I can tell you right now, I never asked anyone to get an abortion. I never paid for an abortion.
What about the $700 check? Is there anybody you can remember sending that much money to?
Well, I send money to a lot of people, and that's what's so funny.
Who can keep track, really? Unfortunately for Walker, the first appearance on Fox News didn't go so well. His initial response to the allegations right after published: bluster, denial, threats of a defamation lawsuit. In fact, he said, tomorrow morning I'm going to file a defamation lawsuit. It's 2 days later, still no lawsuit. Now, the Daily Beast reporting seemed pretty solid. They had obtained a check from Walker, reportedly to pay for the abortion, along with a literal receipt from the abortion provider, and even included the pictures of the Get Well card Walker apparently sent to the woman after she had the abortion. Given that, Walker had to, change tactics. Where did he go to test run his new defense? Back to Fox News this morning.
People see someone sitting here in front of you right now that's been redeemed, and I want America to know I'm living proof that you can make mistakes and get up and keep going forward, but you can only do it in this country right here, and you can only do it if we get this election correct this come November, because we vote for the people on the left, like the guy running against Senator Warnock. You're not going to have a chance to be redeemed. He's a minister, and he don't believe in redemption.
Okay. You will note this is a very different tone than the tone released by his campaign after it published. This is defamatory. It's so defamatory, I will sue tomorrow morning. Today, it's I've made mistakes and I'm redeemed. A little bit of tension there. There's something pretty telling about Walker immediately running to Fox News to try out approach one, approach two, kind of mutually inconsistent to launder his image, because that's what Republicans do now when they are trying to spin a negative story about them, especially if they're running for the Senate this cycle. Here's another example, for instance. Also on Monday, a story broke about medical research on live animals, including dogs, done under the name of Pennsylvania Republican Senate candidate Mehmet Oz, while he was conducting research at Columbia University. Now, NBC News has not verified that reporting. We didn't even cover it on the show, but it made quite the stir online, and Oz's opponent, Democrat John Fetterman, jumped on the story. And wouldn't you know it, same night, Oz appeared on Fox News. Now, host Laura Ingraham did not ask Oz about the dog story, even though it was probably the biggest development in his race that day. She did give him plenty of chances to attack his opponent. Ingraham's show even labeled the candidate as Dr. Mehmet Oz, Republican running against John Fetterman. Now, to be clear, there's nothing wrong with talking about politics, interviewing candidates for office. We've covered the midterms quite a bit on the show, but I just want to be clear about something. Fox's coverage differs both in tone and just the sheer amount of it. At this point, Fox News is essentially an arm of the 24-hour public relations channel for the Republican Senate candidates, interrupted periodically by ads from Mike Pillow. Really no other way to put it. According to a new report from Media Matters for America, in the 4 weeks since Labor Day, Fox News' primetime opinion shows have covered the midterm races twice as often as this network and CNN combined. Quote, Fox functions as a communications arm of the GOP. Its biggest stars are working to ensure Republicans take over the Senate and have an opportunity to implement a hard-right agenda. Network's powerful right-wing propagandists are bombarding their audiences with a steady stream of attacks on Democratic nominees while lavishing positive airplane on the Republican ones. You can see this all over Fox's coverage, in case you don't trust me. Hyperbolic graphics depicting Democratic Senate candidates as losers, dangerous radicals, hell-bent on destroying this country. And I gotta say, tip your hat where appropriate. The undisputed king of this stuff is Fox anchor Sean Hannity. And he's sort of a unique figure here. He's openly partisan in a way, stands out even among his colleagues, appeared at a Trump rally during 2020, notably doesn't even claim to be a journalist, which is true. He steadfastly is not one, though prompts the question, what exactly is Sean Hannity's job? Well, as far as we can tell, it's getting Republicans elected. Here's Sean Hannity with a graphic labeling Herschel Walker's opponent, Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock, as radical Raphael Warnock. Here's Hannity labeling John Fetterman as John the Socialist, even photoshopping him in front of some communist iconography. Here's a scrolling graphic titled Raphael Warnock's Extremism Exposed, with just like a ton of stuff just going by the screen, and one called Fetterman's Extremism Exposed with like the same thing. Hannity once also did a segment with a banner reading, quote, in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and other key states, Democratic Senate candidates on defensive over extreme record. And here's the thing, all those examples are just from one show. Hannity and his colleagues have been doing all of that 5 nights a week for weeks now. Now, to be clear, it's a free country. And as long as there has been media in this country, going back to the beloved founders, there has been partisan media that used the media platforms as a way to sway elections. To me, the problem is not just partisan media. It's the weird circumstances we find ourselves in, because you have the combination of partisan media with the MAGA takeover of the Republican Party. And really, this started with Trump, right? In the beginning, Fox was kind of hard on Trump a little bit, but it didn't work. And he was a ratings bonanza. And when Trump became the nominee, Fox just closed ranks around him. They defended Trump, helped him get elected, even though he should have been nowhere near the levers of power in this country. And lots of people knew it. And I imagine lots of people inside Fox knew it. And now they just do it with everyone. They're doing it with all of Trump's acolytes. Because Trump elevates candidates who, like him, are unfit for office. There's a kind of affinity there. Sometimes he elevates like genuinely dangerous candidates who share his authoritarian sympathies, like Doug Mastriano in Pennsylvania or Carrie Lake in Arizona. Sometimes he elevates candidates who are wildly incompetent and or just completely untrustworthy, like Mehmet Oz, a TV grifter and snake oil salesman who does not even live in the state he's running to represent, and Herschel Walker, who has been, among other things, accused of threatening his ex-wife with a gun, something he doesn't even deny. Just says he doesn't remember it. Now he's redeemed. Fox elevates these candidates, runs cover for them, works overtime to get them elected, along with the rest of the institutional Republican Party, from Rick Scott to Mitch McConnell. They're all rowing in the same direction. It doesn't matter how extreme. It doesn't matter how unfit. Once Donald Trump reaches in and picks who that person's going to be that's going to be the nominee, they all get on board, no matter how far they should obviously be kept from wielding power. And that is a huge part of the story, might be the story of how we found ourselves in our current democratic crisis.